Greetings everyone, Joe Davis here from Southern New Hampshire University, Justice 224 Legal Research. Module 5, we're going to go through a quick overview. Okay, as we've done in each of the other modules, let's take a look at the overview that is found in the Blackboard shell, because there's really a lot of very good information in this. And in the next little mini-series lecture, I'll tell you about how to utilize this for the project that's due for 5-2. So when we take a look here and it says in order to effectively conduct research, we need to learn how to find and analyze case law, okay? And we haven't done much of that. So remember that case law is the result of previous decisions made by judges, usually appellate judges, when confronted with legal disputes. And typically they arise when a procedural issue of law is raised in the trial court, typically. So it's not guilt or innocence, but it's a procedural question about the way things are going, what applies, what doesn't apply. Okay, so if you're trying to solve an issue concerning the legality of search and seizure, or an issue of whether someone should have been Mirandized or given their Miranda rights, you no doubt want to look into case law. Now, I have mentioned that to some of you that want to write about whether it was a criminal search or an unlawful search when they forced their way past Victor's mom, whether he was Mirandized when the officer says, "Why did you run?" He was Mirandized with an adult form. None of that is going to be statutory law. So if those are the issues that you want to look at, perk your ears up here a little bit and pay attention. So first we need to find out how case law is published. And it's published in books called reporters. And as it says, that's state or federal law. They both get published in reporters. And there's a set of federal reporters that publishes case law issued by the federal courts, and each state has a reporter that does state case decisions. So if we're looking at federal crimes, you can obviously look at the federal courts. If we're looking at state crimes, use the state where you live or the state that you want to use. A case law is also available from commercial and public online sites, but let's first take it with the U.S. Supreme Court. Can be found at Supreme Court of the United States, and there's a link for it there that you can click on that link and it'll take it directly to you. You can find other case law, including that of the federal districts and appellates and state Supreme Courts located in the Justia site. So there are a couple of easy sources there for you, both with links. Case law is cited in a very unique method. Okay, and so when we look down here in this area, everybody should be familiar with that case from television, maybe from work, but Miranda v. Arizona 384 U.S. 436, 1966. That is the proper citation for this famous case that defined individuals' Miranda rights. The citations are all built in the same manner. Whether you're looking for a federal or a state statute, they will all read the same way. You can find the case by searching out the case name or by searching for it through its citations. Okay? And for those of you that aren't aware, Mr. Miranda was released from prison, was stabbed to death, and the suspect invoked his Miranda rights. Miranda v. Arizona is the case name. You can find a case from its name. Okay, so if you are on one of the sites, and there's some more listed down here, you can just type in Miranda v. Arizona and find that case. The letters U.S. within the citation identify this as a United States Supreme Court decision, which publishes in the U.S. Reporter series. The number 384, there we can still see it, refers to the volume of the reporter. Now remember, the reporter is this book, if you will, that the case is published in. The number 436 refers to the page that case starts on within the reporter. And the number 1966 represents the year that the case was decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. You can also find this not only here, but in the rubric. There's the Blue Book Guide from Georgetown Law. All right, so let's get to finding case law through words and terms. There are various books called digests that break down cases from decisions and court decisions. The digests break subject matter down by the terms used and by the subject matter itself. Okay. When we've been talking about finding case law through the reporter system, the reality is the vast majority of legal research goes through both public and commercial sites. That's what you're more than likely going to use because that's what you've been using. It's readily available. To find cases in federal and state statutes online for free, you can use Cornell Legal Information Institute, Justia, FindLaw, and LexisNexis. If you're going to use LexisNexis, make sure you do it through the Shapiro Library because then it's free. It's paid for by the university as part of your education. If you have the case name or the citation for the case, you can search for that information and retrieve it just by using that. Keyword searching can also be accomplished using the LexisNexis academic link at the Shapiro Library. So hopefully all my whining and cajoling and telling you, gee, please use the Shapiro Library, please don't use Google, please try and use Cornell, FindLaw, LexisNexis. You're now getting to the point where you see this is why it truly is a scaffolding, a building block event. All right, so now that you've found your case, you need to do a case study analysis, and that's where you look at this case, you read through it, you make certain the legal issue is the same as yours, and I've written that to most of you, I think. Okay, you need to make sure that after you've read through the case that the legal issue is the same as yours. Okay, because that's what the court determines. So each case law decision is published in the format listed below. So now this isn't necessarily something that you need to learn to do. You need to learn to understand it. Okay, so when you read that case law, it'll have a statement of facts. These are the facts that were determined by the original trial court. The facts. The facts are important when the appellate court makes a decision. They are applying the law as they know it to these specific facts. If the law seems to apply to your case, but the facts this law was decided upon are totally different, this case law may not apply to you. Okay, so it has to be the same. Then there's an issue statement. This is a short statement as to the exact legal issue that the court's going to decide. And obviously you're looking for the issue that's the same as your issue. Not almost the same, has to be the same as your issue. A ruling, holding, or a short answer. And this is a brief statement succinctly stating the court's answer to the legal issue. And then finally a discussion of how they got to that answer. I hope that helps you a little bit for this stuff. Keep the cards and letters coming. And again, please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you.